Before we begin, the name is placed on the top right side of the screen. It was so dark there, to the point that no light could be seen no matter where one looked. This area was so suffocating that one had to question how this place could exist. After some time, a crack appears in this dark place and she suddenly sees a ray of light. She notices that there is a blue-haired person looking at him. The crack widens and people are shouting over the success of research. The name of the researcher is Reincarnates, who is the master of the magic tower. He is getting congratulated by people over the success of his research. The gap in the crack continues to widen with every moment. She realizes that Reincarnates is the magic teacher of the heroine in a novel she read a while ago, as she finds the appearance to be congruent with the description provided in the novel. She concludes that if Reincarnates is in front of her, then that can only mean one thing, that she has entered the novel which she was reading a while ago. She then continues to wonder about the character of the novel she possessed. Seems like she has read way too many isekai novels to the point that she thinks that it is normal for her to wake up in another world. She then continues to observe her surroundings. She finds the room she is resting in to be quite luxurious with all that flowers and luxurious design. She wonders if she is the female protagonist of the novel. As she is wondering about this, she sees Reincarnates smiling at her, telling her to not get scared and afraid of all the people here and there. If she had known that she would wake up the next moment in the novel, she would have read this to the end, as she remembers that the heroine had a very hard time in the beginning, but she thinks that she should not worry because it would be a happy ending regardless of the story development. As Reincarnates grabs her hands, she gets confused as there is something wrong with her hands. Reincarnates picks her up in the air as he is quite joyful due to the success of his experiment. Reincarnates then introduces himself to the female protagonist and informs him that he is her father, as he cannot seem to shake off the fact that she is so cute. She starts to sweat profusely as Reincarnates reveals to her that she is his penguin, which sends the protagonist into a state of deep shock. The name of the novel in which the protagonist is in is Mr. Wolf I Can't Eat. The main plot is about a male protagonist, who is a werewolf, who gets cured by the heroine. He, due to his unique nature, manages to leave an imprint on her, as the act of leaving an imprint is a characteristic of generations of werewolves. It is like a one-sided love contract in which the person has to forever serve the one they make imprint on. It might sound romantic in the novel, but the werewolves do not hesitate a bit to do extreme things for the sake of the imprinted one, which makes it a love that borders on psychosis, which is a mental health condition characterized by a disconnection from reality. After the imprinting, the male protagonist starts to get insanely obsessed with the female lead who helped her. That was the kind of novel she was reading before her death. She, fortunately, remembers the details she read, but she was only able to get to the middle part of the novel, and she is not sure whether it is even a romance genre or not, because she thought that the heroine of the novel would get devastated as she was having one difficulty after another. But she cannot seem to make sense of her current situation, as Reincarnates is calling her his pet and thinking about naming her Adelia, as she is an Adelie penguin. She cannot stop sweating as she wonders why she got turned into an Adelie penguin. She finds it unbelievable for there to be a penguin in a romance novel despite the fact that it contains beastmen. She thinks that being reincarnated as a penguin in a romance is nothing but loads of nonsense. She is very much shattered by her current state, while Reincarnates, on the other hand, is doting on her cute little princess. After observing her surroundings, she is convinced that she has entered the Mr. Wolf I Can't Eat novel. The only problem is that she was reincarnated neither as the heroine nor as the other female characters, but rather as a pet penguin who was not even born from a mother penguin, but instead created in a magic laboratory. She wonders why someone would include a penguin that does not fit into a romantic novel, despite the fact that there are beastman characters in this novel. She thinks that the author is an idiot for adding penguins in the novels, no matter how much he likes penguins. To forget the deep sorrow she experienced, she decides to completely adapt to the penguin life, and her father Reincarnates plays a big part in it. She continues to chirp as her father visits her. He thinks that Adelia is having a boring day, so he decides to take her to the swimming pool. For the past 4 years, since the day she was born from that research egg, her father has raised her with the utmost care. She was provided a high-end buffet exclusively for penguins, customized clothes which are just made for her, and a swimming pool which is specifically made for penguins. The whole environment is made for penguins, which shows that Reincarnates showered her with an abundance of love which she had never received in her previous life. However, if she could go back to being a human, she would still choose that any time. When the night came, she became even more lonely, so she desperately made a wish every night that she turns into beastmen. But her prayers did not meet the standards of this world, and no matter how she tried, she could not become human. Moreover, she overlooked one thing, which was that Reincarnates really hated beastmen. Rhinos thinks that he is lucky that his beautiful daughter is just a penguin. Rhinos hated beastmen because he was bullied by them in the past when he was young, so he bore a terrible hatred for beastmen. In the original work, pure-blooded humans are looked down upon as a lower race. Rhinos was the first person to give her love, so she does not want to be hated by her father. She decides to give up her struggle as it was not working anyways, as she is already happy enough just being with her father like this. It was unfortunate, but it could not be helped. Rhinos notices that Adelia is looking quite sad and wonders if her daughter is sick. The moment when Adelia accepted everything and tried to face her sad reality, the killer whale beast of the whale family, Sir Adel, appeared in front of her. He is amused to know that the child Sir Rhinos could not live without turned out to be a penguin. Sir Adel's appearance set off an emergency signal in her head because of his overly handsome face. She cannot stand in front of his sparkling face and thinks this is a face that can never be a side character. However, she notices that there is something suspicious because if he is a killer whale, then his hair should be a mix of black and white, but his hair is silver instead, which makes her think that there is something wrong about it. What is even more suspicious is the appearance of the whale family because there was no explanation about this family in the original work. It seems like they are the family who dominate this continent. Adelia suspects that everything she knows about the original novel will change because of that character with the silver hair color. She thinks that she can only change the flow of the original work if she is a human, as a mere penguin cannot even think of doing that. Sir Adel is surprised, as it is the first time he has seen a penguin which is not scared of him, which makes him think if he is actually a penguin lover. Rhinos wonders if it is because his favorite food is penguins, as he is worried about her daughter. Adelia realizes that it might be because penguins are below the killer whale in the food chain, so she prepares herself to throw hands with Sir Adel. Sir Adel, however, thinks that it is a shame as he has never eaten penguins before. Adelia realizes that he is teasing her, but she decides to endure it because he is in an active relationship with her dad. Rhinos thinks that it is not just penguins who react that way, as all the creatures seem to fear Sir Adel. Sir Adel wonders why everyone is afraid of him. He wonders if it is because he has a weird laugh. However, Rhinos thinks that this is not the case. Sir Adel, after knowing that Adelia is not afraid of her, thinks that it is definitely possible for them to be good friends. He wonders what Adelia thinks about that and pokes her on her cheek. Adelia is surprised by the sudden poke on her cheek and throws a tantrum as she thinks that it is rude for a person to poke at other people like that. She chirps angrily and pushes his finger away while Sir Adel apologizes for his rude behavior. Sir Adel then decides to touch his beak, but this decision turns out to be quite costly, as Adelia had already warned her that she will bite her if he came close again. As Sir Adel continues to move her finger close to her beak, Adelia opens her beak and viciously bites his finger to the point that it starts to bleed. Her dad, Rhinos, is deeply shocked seeing the ferocious nature of her daughter. Rhinos is startled as he sees blood on Sir Adel's finger. Sir Adel assures him that he should not worry, as it is a minor thing. While Adelia, on the other hand, is reflecting on what she did, as she did not mean to bite him this hard. Sir Adel continues to heal his finger. He tells Adelia that the more he looks at her, the more he ends up liking her, especially her crazy childlike eyes. Adelia is confused by his sudden revelation, and she realized at that moment that something was not quite right. After their first meeting, Sir Adel visited Adelia again. He thinks that she is looking quite energetic as she is staring at her so attentively. Sir Adel tells her that if she kept looking at him like that, he would end up being really embarrassed, while Adelia thinks that he is pretending to not know that she is being cautious of him. The next day he visits her again and feels like they have been getting closer as time passes, so he asks her if he can call her Leah, but Adelia chooses to ignore her. He then continues visiting her day after day without any break, which frustrates Adelia. She wonders if he does not get bored of visiting her. Adelia thought that it was the first time she had seen someone like that because he continues to visit her even though she has clearly shown him that she dislikes him. She also remembers that he also used magic back then, which is unusual because he is a beastman. As far as she remembers, magic was only possible for the pure-blooded humans. However, she has heard from her dad that the whale family is the only beastman family that uses the unique ability of magic possessed by pure-blooded humans, while she thinks that there are many other things which are suspicious about them. She wonders if the original story is totally different, or is it something that appears in the later parts of the novels she was not able to read. She goes to sleep while wondering about the true identity of Sir Adel. She tried her best to figure out the true nature of Sir Adel, while being totally oblivious of what would happen to her. After waking up the next morning from her sleep like the usual, she is shocked to see that she has suddenly turned into a human. She wonders what is going on as she cannot seem to believe this nonsense. She wonders if her wish came true. With the sudden change in her appearance, she felt both astonishment and unease, because when she wished for it desperately, it did not work. Moreover, she wonders if her dad, who hates beastmen, will accept her daughter who ended up transforming into one. So she decides to not let her dad see her current state, and for that she needs to transform back into a penguin, but she is confused as to how she can transform back into one. Her worries continue to increase as her dad calls for her, wondering if she is awake so that they can go for a walk. She absolutely cannot let her dad see her current state, so she decides to escape from her house away from her dad's eyes and come back quickly after finding out a way to transform back. She thought that she would be away for a moment, but instead she ended up getting kidnapped by someone. She is frustrated over this exhausting day as she got kidnapped in less than an hour after leaving her home, and her emergency money was also taken away by the kidnappers. As she continues to wonder what kind of people her kidnappers are, she overhears their discussion. They are happy as they are lucky to get their hands on the beastman the whale family was looking for. Adelia is surprised after hearing the name of the whale family. The kidnappers are happy that they would not have to worry about money for years, because this beastman has black hair mixed with white, so it must be the one they were looking for. Adelia wonders why the whale family is looking for her, thinking if this was the doing of Sir Adel. But how is it possible for Sir Adel to know that she has become human and send people to find her? Because according to her, he only knew she was a penguin. Sir Adel approaches the kidnappers and asks them if it is really the beastman they were searching for. The kidnappers assure them that it is really the beastman they demanded, and it was surprisingly hard for them to find her. Sir Adel decides to check the cart first in case it turns out to be dangerous, and requests his mother to wait. He is surprised to see the poor state the beastman is put in. Adelia assumes that Sir Adel really ordered to kidnap her. First, he continued to stalk her like a creep and finally had her kidnapped. She wishes that she should have pecked her eyes back then instead of biting his finger. He frowns and requests his mother to come over and check the condition of the beastman. She gasps as she is shocked to see the sorry state of the beastman, wondering how she could be treated like this. She orders Sir Adel to hurry up and free that child. Sir Adel quickly removes cloth from her mouth and loses her rope. Sir Adel's mother apologizes to her for being the cause of her poor state, as she must be very scared and hurt. Adelia is surprised by this because she thought it was ordered by Sir Adel. Sir Adel thinks something is strange as he senses something familiar from her, like he has known her for quite a long time. Adelia fears if he recognizes her as she realizes that he is a quick-witted guy. The kidnappers realize that the situation is not good for them, so they decide to be on their way, but they are quickly ordered by Sir Adel's mother to stop right on spot. She asks her who ordered them to bring her there, as the whale family was looking for a criminal, not a fellow beastman. She is infuriated how they can treat a precious child so roughly. The kidnappers tell her that they were informed that the whale family is looking for a beastman. She orders to arrest both of them at once as kidnapping is a crime. She introduces herself as Bella and apologizes to Adelia again for causing her trouble. Adelia is amazed by her incredible charisma. She asks Adelia about her home so that they can send her back safely. Adelia concludes that they were actually looking for a child like her, but not in this way. Adelia realizes that she cannot go back to her home as she has not learned how to transform into an animal. She wonders whether her father will accept her if she goes back to the ghost tower. She concludes that the remaining option is to ask the whale family for help. She requests them to show her how to change from a human form into an animal form, as there are many people in the whale family with special abilities, so she decides to get their help. She tells Sir Adel and Bella that she was originally an animal, but suddenly became a human, and who she cannot go back to her home as she does not know how to revert to becoming an animal. She further tells them that the reason she wants to learn how to transform into an animal is because she does not want to hurt the people who are important to them. Bella understands her situation and tells her that she cannot learn to transform into an animal separately because everyone with special abilities knows how to do it naturally. She further tells her that it will take some time, so if it is possible she can wait here and live with them for a while until she can learn how to transform back into an animal. Adelia is surprised by their suggestion. Bella realizes this and explains to her that the actual reason they were looking for children like her is something else. She informs her that she was unable to have children after an accident, so to avoid extinction, they were searching for their own kind for decades. But in the end, they were not able to find someone who was of the same race, let alone someone who looked like her. She thought it was the end for Suradel and her as there was no news, but Adelia appeared before them like a miracle, so she requests Adelia so that they can help her. Adelia did not understand what any of that means, but she felt like she could also help those people. As she fails to find another way out of this situation, she accepts their courtesy and decides to stay here for a while and figure a way to transform back to her animal form. Bella tells her that she will have the maid prepare a room so that she can live here. However, Adelia wonders why she is taking such good care of her and feels like she is forgetting something very important. As she is wondering about this, she stares at a window on her side and gets surprised when she looks at her reflection. She has black hair like Bella and white spots with similar patterns as her. Even her white hair on the inside matches with Bella. She then suddenly realizes that they have mistook her for a killer whale beastman. The more she looks at Bella, the more it becomes clear to her that they think she looks like a killer whale beastman just like them. She resembles Bella a lot, something she did not notice because she was disoriented earlier. She finds it strange that the spots on a killer whale and Adelie penguin are similar, however, their positions are entirely different. But Adelia decides to calm down for the sake of her worried dad, who is spreading her picture in the town to find her. So for that she needs to quickly learn how to transform back into animal and go home. She initially did not intend to deceive anyone, but she thinks that she should confess to them that she is a penguin. She does not know what to do as she is worried about their reaction if they find out who she really is. As she is worrying about these things, Bella walks forward and asks her name, which startles Adelia as she cannot tell her real name. As she is wondering what name she should choose, Sudel decides to call her Leah in case she does not have any name, which greatly shocks her. Sudel asks her if she likes this name, while her mother on the other hand thinks that it is a lovely name. Adelia thought that she got caught because Sudel used the nickname from when she was a penguin. Adelia, after realizing that she is safe, tells them that she really loves this name. Sudel tells her that Leah is actually the name of the girl she is courting, and he is glad that she liked this name. Adelia is irritated as he calls her girl instead of a female penguin, while also thinking that the talk about courtship is straight up ridiculous. Sudel notices that Adelia is not scared of her as he moves a little closer to her. Adelia is surprised by his sudden advancement and thinks that he is quite handsome. She tells him that she is not scared of her at all. She avoids his gaze as she almost gets distracted by his looks. She tells him that she is not going to get eaten, so there is no reason to be scared of him. Sudel smiles and thinks that this is a tad bit strange as he wonders how she is so sure that he would not eat her. Adelia tries to explain herself as Sudel gets close to her, but realizes that she cannot tell him that it was because he told her that he has never eaten a penguin. Sudel gets awfully close to her and Adelia gets scared that she will get eaten, but he assures her that he would not touch the beastmen of the same species. Sudel wonders if she got nervous that he might eat her. He thinks that Leah is the type who easily falls for tricks. Adelia gets angry and calls him a fraud as she remembers that he was always a mischievous person. She clenches her hands in frustration because he always messes with her even when she was a penguin. While she is wondering about that, Sewell suddenly tells her that he likes her voice very much and he is confused about what he should do as it seems like he might end up preferring this Leah over the original one. His confession sends Adelia to a deep shock. She realizes that it is a big problem as her dad always said that there is no cure for insanity. The scene then shifts to Bella, who is sitting in her living room sipping on her tea. She asks Sudel about Leah. He assures her that he has already asked the servants to guide her to her room. She then asks his opinion about that child. He tells her that her communication is usually smooth, even though it has been a very short time since she succeeded in becoming human. Bella agrees with him on this, as she also thinks that Leah knows too much despite the fact that she has lived as a beast. Sudel thinks that it might be because her mind was already mature while she was an animal. Bella thinks that this is terrible because the greater the intelligence, the greater the mental pain she will have to experience. Sudel thinks that it is possible that she is not a killer whale as they have not seen her animal form yet. Bella does not think that is the case as her hair clearly resembles that of a killer whale, and it does not look like they have been dyed or magically altered. Bella is surprised as to why Sudel gave the name of the penguin he used to visit every day to her. He tells her that it is just because he likes that name and there is no special reason. Bella realizes that her thoughts are always hard to understand, wondering if he has fallen for her at first sight. However, Bella decides to let her stay with the whale family for some time while keeping an eye on her. She has a strange feeling that Leah will turn out to be a good match for them. She thought that the line of the killer whales was coming to an end, but she found her hope. Sudel ponders for a moment and asks her mother why is she so obsessed with their kind. Bella tells Shapeshifting that it is not just an obsession, but rather a burden of a responsibility greater than she even imagined. She will do everything she can as long as she is alive, as she does not ever want to experience the same terrible feeling ever again. But Sudel advises him to not pass the responsibility of being a mother on to Leah, as she is a child who has just become human. She tells Sudel to not worry and assures him that she is only helping Leah to safely adjust to society, as it will help her meet good people. She has no intention of forcing her to take a killer whale as her future spouse. Sudel then asks if she has any expectations from him, as he is also a killer whale, which surprises Bella because he said that he never thought about marriage. She wonders if Sudel has really fallen in love at first sight. Bella is wondering about Sudel's sudden change of heart. Sudel denies that he did not fall in love. He asks whether she wants him to get involved with someone because they both know how it will end. Bella, hearing her son's response, tells her to come closer. As Sudel tries to figure out what is going on, he gets smacked by her mom on his back. Bella, who is not happy with his response, tells him that it is not proper to think about breaking up right after when they first meet someone. She asks him if he regrets meeting her and Primo. Sudel thinks that this is entirely different, but soon realizes his mistake and tells her mom that he does not regret meeting them. Bella is glad that her son understood her point and orders him to go to the market with Leah tomorrow. They will need a lot of stuff as they will be staying here for a while. Sudel asks if she will not go with them. Bella informs him that Primo will soon be back, so she needs to get some things ready for the servants and the head of the family. Moreover, she also wants to talk about Leah with him, as it will make him happy. Sudel asks if he should buy a gift for his dad while they are out in the market. Bella tells her that there is no need for that, as he will be happy just from seeing her face. Sudel then jokes about setting up a date with Leah, which surprises Bella. She reminds her that he is going with her as her sponsor, not as a date. Sudel tells her that he was joking, which makes Bella let out a sigh as his son has not lost his playful spirit. She tells Sudel that she loves him. Sudel replies that he also loves her mother. The scene then shifts to Adelia, who is amazed by the luxurious room Bella gave her because up until then she always thought that her home in the ghost tower was best. She is awed by all the shiny furniture and the big spacious room. However, she is rather guilty as she got it through a lie. She then proceeds to glance over her human form in front of her mirror. She has wavy hair with unique patterns and clear blue eyes like the ocean, which makes her think that she is actually beautiful. She wonders if this is the limit of the penguin genetics with respect to height, because before she got possessed she was taller than the average. However, she decides to endure it for the pretty face she got. She thinks that it is a miracle that she has achieved this in 4 years, and she also missed having fingers. Now that she has become human, she decides to go over her goals again. First of all, she wants to find a way to transform back while not letting Shapeshifting and the whale beastman find out about her original identity, and last but not the least, she wants to find a way to save her dad, which is something that was bothering her since she was Penguin. According to the original story, an epidemic will break out that will soon only affect pure-blooded humans. The plague spreads so fast that it manages to shake the whole world, and the only pure-blooded who survives in the end is the heroine, Anemone, which means that her dad is supposed to die from the plague as well. This causes Anemone to lose her only teacher, which leaves her alone and devastated, though she finds comfort and falls in love with the male lead, but that is not what concerns Adelia. She does not care a bit whether the main couple gets together or not, as the only thing she cares about now is to look for a way to save her dad, and she will do it even if she has to change the original story for that. When she was a penguin, she could not do anything, but now is a different story altogether. As she is thinking about this, Shapeshifting asks for permission to come into her room. She glances at the door and tells him to come in. She asks him about the reason he came here, only to know that he came here to see her. This ends up surprising her because she cannot seem to understand what is going on in his mind, because he was interested in her when she was a penguin, and he is also interested in her after she became human. She wonders if he is the type of guy that flirts with every girl he sees. She becomes cautious and jumps back a few steps while Shapeshifting wonders what is going on. She tells him that everything is good and avoids his gaze as looks do not affect her anymore. She thinks that Shapeshifting might be the key to changing the story, as he is the guy who does not fit the original story, and coincidentally she can also approach her easily. She decides to find more about Shapeshifting as she curls her hair with her finger. She is curious about him having silver hair while he is a whale beastman. Moreover, he is also shorter than average for a whale. He tells her that it is not possible to tell beastman species just by their appearances, as only certain species of beastmen share common traits between themselves. He stood in front of her and slowly leaned his head forward while giving her a deep stare, which made her wonder whether he had figured out her true identity. But instead, he patted her head multiple times while reminding her that she is also very short despite being a whale beastman. She insists that he is wrong, as all whale beastmen have similar hair colors, and they are also part of that specific species. Sudel wonders if she is really that curious about his hair color, while Adelia thinks that it has nothing to do with curiosity, rather it is just that he is too suspicious. He then pretends to tell her, but instead messes with her by claiming that it is a secret. This annoys Adelia, and she grits her teeth because he messes with her whenever he gets a chance. He laughs after seeing her reaction and tells her that he was joking, as her reactions are priceless. He reveals to her that his hair is like that because of mutation, and it is not a case of albinism or anything else. Adelia tells him that she will not believe it until he shows it to her. He asks Adelia if she wants to see him in his natural state, to which she nods. He then again asks if she really wants to see his natural form right here, right now. She confirms that she wants to see his natural form right here, right now. He makes a play on the word natural, which Adelia realizes later and tells her that she did not mean natural form, but rather beast form. He, for a second, thought that Leah wanted him, while Adelia does not like him joking like that. Adelia then decides to walk away, as it seems like Sudel does not want to show his beast form. Sudel assures her that it is not like that and then places a condition that he will show his true form if Leah agrees to show her beast form. Adelia, as if she wants to avoid that, tells him that he knows that she does not know how to transform. Sudel tells her that it does not have to be right now, and he will wait until she learns how to transform. Adelia is worried that Sudel thinks she is a whale beastman, as she cannot show her true identity. Even after learning how to revert to her human form, she cannot possibly become a penguin in front of him. She wonders what will happen if Sudel finds out that she is actually Adelia's, the penguin from the magic tower. As she is wondering about that, Sudel thinks that she is worried about showing her beastman form, so he assures her that he will wait as long as she wants, as he is more patient than he looks. As they were talking about the topic of transforming, Sudel realized that he forgot something. He suggests that after they are done with all the important stuff they need to do, they should go to the whale family's territory, which is basically an island surrounded. Sudel thinks that it is probably to practice transforming on the island, since she is also a whale, but he thinks that it is only possible after she gets used to living here, as it could turn out to be quite overwhelming at first. Adelia is shocked to hear the mention of an island, because if she transformed back into penguin on the island, they would wonder why there is a penguin in front of them instead of a killer whale. Moreover, there is nowhere to run in case she gets caught. Adelia asks Sudel if it is not possible to train here, to which Sudel replies that it would be quite hard, as there is no water here. She assures her that even a small tank will do the job, as she has lived her whole life at home with that small tank anyways. Sudel cuts her in and tells her that if she said things like that in front of her mom, it would make her really sad, as it does not make sense for a whale to be content in a small place like a tank. She tells Sudel that she understands his point while thinking about what she should do now, because no one knows what will happen if she goes to the whale island, and Sudel ends up finding out her secret. She decides that it is better to practice on her own and get out of here before they go to the island of the whale family for practice. She asks Sudel about how the whale family lives in a townhouse, to which he replies that the whale family can stay in human form far longer than any other beastman, and when it is time to revert to their original form, they use the teleportation magic to go to their territory to transform. Adelia thinks that it is quite risky, as it requires for them to leave the house often. Sudel tells her that in order to solve this problem, most of the servants they have hired are from other species like bears, dogs, cats, and even rabbits. He further adds that there are not many whale beastmen to begin with, so it is not that risky. Beastmen have to transform back into their beast form on a regular basis, and if they do not revert back to their original form regularly, they get fatigued and end up forcibly transforming. Adelia thinks that the whale family was not able to expand in the original story due to the same reason. Because they had to go back to the island far away to transform, they were not able to stay in the capital for long, or else there would be whales stuck on the streets all the time. She still cannot seem to make sense of their use of magic, unlike the original story. She concludes that it might be because of a racial trait ability. The racial trait abilities also known as racial abilities, have a huge impact on the family. For example, wolf beastmen are able to become knights because of the excellent physical abilities they possess, and the elephant beastmen end up becoming craftsmen because of their exceptional dexterity, while the fox beastmen, on the other hand, become the center of the various scandals because of their stunning looks. Adelia thinks that maybe the whale beastmen have a magical racial trait, even though it was not mentioned in the original story. As Adelia is absorbed in solving the mysteries of the novel, Cyrodiil tells her that there is something that he is also curious about, which makes Adelia wonders what that is. He asks Adelia why she calls him Cyrodiil, which confuses Adelia, wondering if he wants her to call him young master. Cyrodiil laughs and tells her that he has no need of those stiff titles, which alerts Adelia, and she tells Cyrodiil that she would rather sleep outside than call him honey, sweetheart, or the likes. Cyrodiil laughs and tells her that he only wants her to give him a cute nickname. Adelia wonders if she really has to call him something as friendly as that. He asks her if she does not want to get close to him, to which Adelia replies that it does not even matter as they have just met today. Cyrodiil then proceeds to ask Adelia about her first impression of him, to which she replies that it was not great. Cyrodiil makes a cute face in front of her and wonders if that is true, which makes Adelia concede that she does not dislike him as he has helped her a lot today. She is frustrated because she lost to his handsome face again. Cyrodiil is relieved upon hearing this and tells Adelia that he also loves her. Adelia corrects her that she never said she likes her, but rather she said that she does not dislike her. Cyrodiil ignores what she just said and requests her to give him a cute nickname when she feels like it, which makes Adelia wonder if he is even listening to what she just said. Cyrodiil then suddenly remembers that she has something for Leah, which was something which he was going to another Leah, but he was not able to meet her, so instead he is giving this to her. He further tells her that this shiny and pretty stone is loved by her Leah. Adelia liked the stone, but barely held herself back from getting angry the moment he said her Leah, so she, instead of receiving this, returns it to Cyrodiil, thinking that he should give it to other Leah like he had originally planned. Cyrodiil, after realizing that there is no other choice, threw the shiny stone out the window without any regrets. This gives a great shock to Adelia as she wonders why he threw that stone away, to which he replies that he does not need it as he originally got it for Leah. Adelia tells her that he should then give it to other Leah like he had originally planned to which Cyrodiil replies that how can he give it to another Leah when she rejected it, as it will end up hurting the feelings of other Leah. Adelia thought to herself that why would the other Leah get hurt as they are basically the same person. As Adelia is busy looking for the stone from her window, Cyrodiil advises her to get some rest as she must be tired. He informs her that they would go and do shopping tomorrow because she is now a human and she would need a lot of things to adjust to her human lifestyle. Adelia asks while annoyed if she really has to go with him, to which Cyrodiil replies that he will go with her because he is her sponsor. While looking for the stone, Adelia tells him that if that is the case then it is fine. She thinks that the stone fell in that flower bed below. Cyrodiil wants to say something, but he stops after seeing Adelia totally engrossed in looking for the stone she just refused to take and now is asking the reason he threw it outside. After seeing Cyrodiil standing in her door, she wonders if he wants something from her, to which he replies that it is nothing and leaves the room. The night then arrives and Adelia is laying down on her bed trying her best to sleep, but she is upset to the point that she cannot sleep despite all her efforts. She endured a lot of things, from turning into a human to getting kidnapped and then getting saved by the whale family, but the biggest reason she cannot sleep is because of the shiny stone Cyrodiil threw out of the window, as she is getting crazy just thinking about it. She admits that she likes stones, and if they are pretty and more valuable than the regular stones, she loves them even more. When she was still a penguin, Cyrodiil asked her if it is true that Adelie penguins love stones. Even though it is obvious that it is the trait of Adelie penguin to love stones, Adelia did not want to admit it in front of Cyrodiil. After that day, Cyrodiil started to bring jewels to her and demanded various things from her. However, Adelia controlled herself like a noble penguin and did not give in to her temptations. But the jewel that fell in the flower bed is a different story. She remembers that Cyrodiil mentioned something about tonight, but she does not care about that as she does not know what he was trying to say. She, instead, decides to just grab the shiny stone and come right back. She opens the door for her room while telling the pretty stone to wait for her.